I'm also recording the audio. So yeah, hopefully that'll sound all right. Anyway, that fucking YouTube. Hello,
everybody.
Are we on the YouTubes now?
Yeah, we're on the YouTubes now. So what we saying about
Look, he got that fucking flag up of Liverpool. Jesus Christ.
Hey, actually, this was actually going to be going up in a second, but then I just didn't have time to get it done.
They lost.
I was waiting for your top to ride up then, Sucky, but you disappointed me.
No. Oh,
What's he got?
Doctor Who discovers Pilates. No,
that was actually going to go. I was going to do it.
Are we excited about the forthcoming episode then?
Why? What is it?
Sea Devils, potentially the Macro.
No, but
2
when
weeks.
is it,
Oh, 2 weeks. Not even that now. Week and a half. It's to Sunday.
week on Sunday.
Week on Sunday. 10:07.
I'm excited. It looks cool, and I really enjoyed Doctor Who magazine, which I've never bought for ages because it's usually boring. But I really enjoyed it.
Convince me to buy it then, because I like to be persuaded to buy things. I'm quite
cool.
I can send you the PDF if you want.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
What
sure.
you do? What you do is you find out if you've got relatives that work at any of the big supermarkets.
Ask them to nick it. Ask them to nick it.
They get discounts. They get discounts, and you just pay the discounted price.
Have you got the Sea Devils DVD behind you at all, Sucky?
Of course he has. Must have.
Yeah.
Sending him off to get stuff because he knows he's got it.
Yeah, of course he's got it.
Whatever we talk
Have you got
about,
some?
he's
Have you
gonna
got Radio
provide
Times from
physical evidence.
1918 in there?
Probably has, hasn't he?
Probably has. Oh, it's just here by the side. I was reading it earlier.
I don't know where my Sea Devils one is.
It's not important.
Have you not got them in chronological order?
Has to be chronological, yeah.
My friend,
Apart
who I
from
live
this
with,
one, this is weird, isn't it?
you've not whipped it out. You've got to get it out. Get rid of the cardboard. Get it in chronological order.
I can't get rid of the cardboard.
No, it goes in the loft. So I do the cardboard.
No, I can't.
Yeah, because that cardboard will add literally 50 pence under the wire at the end of it.
That you're never going to sell them. One day we'll skip when it comes out in Blu-ray.
My old housemate, because I had all my DVDs in chronological order, he used to swap them around because I knew the order and it pissed me off.
Good lad.
That
was
good. Yeah, it was lucky, yeah.
When I used to
definitely do the same. That'd be brilliant.
When I used to have my little Daypol figures out, Matt would rearrange them into sexual positions when I wasn't looking. And you'd come back and find Daleks doing all kinds of things to the Doctor or Captain Jack or whatever.
I can't handle it. I can't handle people messing with my Doctor Who shit.
No. I live on my own and I came downstairs one day and somebody had nicked all my Xbox games. They'd left everything else. They just nicked GTA 5 and another one.
It's a
Are you
good
serious?
game.
They came in and just nicked 2 games.
I left the back door open, so yeah, they just fucking wandered in there.
No, I meant to close it, John. Sorry.
You know better than to come into my house and invite Bob.
I do actually. Yeah.
All the power tools that he's got there hanging on it.
It's like a wooden
I'd
arsenal.
saw your bollocks off.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And they're quite getting bigger
How much
with
do you
age.
charge for that?
I think the word is pendulous. So,
Oh, that's a big word. I'll have to look that up in a bit.
pendulous bollocks.
Oh.
When you get older.
And they slot from side to
Well,
side.
my ears are getting fucking huge as well. I'm literally 50 in 3 weeks.
Are you really?
Yeah. And my ears are getting bigger. And I've got a bald spot.
I've got a bald spot all over my head. Yeah.
I'm all over the place.
Old man tails.
Apart from his shoulders.
Which
hair.
what are they bald?
No, they just
Hi,
like
Matthew.
Persian
Everyone
rugs
says
on
hi.
either side.
Hang on, I'll just mute for a second.
What's the
Don't
saying?
mute it. We want to know what's going on.
What are you saying?
It's all right. It's probably filthy.
What are you saying? Yeah. Yeah, him there. I'd bang him. What about him?
I've had him.
Yeah, Craig.
Okay.
Yes, all right. We'll just give you marks out of 10. We'll just compare it.
You probably actually were as well.
No, I did actually.
Stucky won. Bet Stucky won.
If I'm
No,
not,
it's the cactus
Beard
picture
that he can
behind you.
hold on.
if I'm not a strong 8, Craig, I'll be cross.
I'll give you 1. It's my favourite saying. Give him 1. Hey, I'll give him 1.
Are you recording, John? By the way.
Oh, I forgot we were recording. Shit.
No, yeah, we're totally recording.
No, do you want to?
Yeah, might as well as a backup in case mine doesn't work.
Right, let me just press the buttons. If it wants to if it needs an update, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, I'm editing. If you can send me all the files, I've never edited it before.
Oh, I'm not record. Do I need to record something?
No.
Oh shit! Thank
You
God
just
for
get
that.
two files, Cliff, either from me or John.
Right, recording.
Did you have the background files as well? Just add my own stuff. Or...
I've got me individually and the background. Everybody else on another track. So
yeah, and I've got
Cool.
me and then everyone else on another track.
it's great YouTube content, by the way.
And then
Everyone's switched off by now.
and then you can do what you want with the rest of it, Cliff. TARDIS sound. That's about it, really. That's all I put in.
Sexy sounds.
But it's up to you. You do what you want.
Do a bit of grunting for you later if you like. You can put it in.
Yeah, do that. Boom.
Should we get the show on the road?
Yeah.
On it,
Yeah,
that's okay.
Some fucker better host this.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
okay. You can't
hosting
get away.
anything.
I'm doing the editing for you, Sucky.
All right.
All right.
You ready? All of you ready?
Yeah.
Get the fuck on with it. It's okay.
Okay, darling. Sorry, I do apologise. Hello and welcome to Around the Console. My name is Suki, and I'm joined today by John, Craig, Cliff, and Bob, and we're all here to discuss Tom Baker's story, Meglos. So let's start with John, because he's shaking his head at me.
That's that. That was a fast one.
I was just trying to put you off by shaking my head repeatedly. What do you want to know?
What did you think? Come on,
I
man.
watched it surprisingly in one big lump. It was all 4 episodes straight after one another. It did seem like it's Tom Baker. It's good. I don't like the Romana companion, to be honest. But the story-wise, I think it was quite generic. It felt to me. It was still fine. All the accusations of bad acting. It's a kids' TV show. I'm not gonna field those kind of opinions. But initial thoughts. It was acceptable, and I didn't unenjoy it.
Cool.
Don't know
Cheers,
what that
John.
means.
So we'll go see if we've got some positivity, and we'll go with Craig.
You've not chose the right one of us really for that one tonight, I'm afraid, darling. I actually totally agree pretty much with everything John said. I find this a really generic, mediocre, bland Doctor Who story. I think it's tired. I think it's just a cop out of a story, really. It's nothing in it. It just feels like it's just churning out the same old. I will go down the bit that John didn't say, and I do think the acting of some of the crew is terrible. Romana does nothing for me. It's just
Bit surprising there, Craig.
Yeah, I did watch it. It's really weird because I did watch it in one day. I didn't do it in one lump, but I did it in one day like John did. And at the end, now, afterwards, I kind of reflected and thought, now there are some Doctor Who stories like the War Games or whatever it might be, where I could never have done that. So I must have enjoyed it enough, but then we'll come on to that when we get a bit more deep. It's very tepid, I'm afraid, darling. Very tepid.
No worries, babe. Let's go with Cliff.
Well, I've seen this a few times, and this story is like Marmite to some people. You either love it or hate it, and it gets slagged off for this, that, and the other. But I pleasantly enjoyed it. You can see Tom Baker wanted more. He wanted a challenge. It was last season, and some of the stories reflect him saying, "Give me something else to do." I like when he split them up. All in all, I watched it all in one because it's quite fast paced. Even though it's four episodes, the story is okay. There's a lot where you think didn't need Romana, didn't need K9, could have just written them out of it, and they more or less did.
Yeah.
But it's a pleasant one. It's one of those where you're like, yeah, it's all right. That it's not a proper slag off.
Okay, so and we're going to get any positivity, really upbeat positivity from Bob, maybe.
Well, when we picked it, I was a bit gutted because I don't know why. I always feel a bit gutted with when we have to review season 18. But season 18, it's very unique. I would call it unique.
Didn't you pick it?
No, you picked it.
You picked it,
I
John.
picked it.
Yeah.
I picked whatever somebody else
I picked it
picked.
because I
Yeah.
went straight back then and just pulled out the DVD.
And then John picked your pick.
Yeah,
And
it's Suki's fault. Nice.
And I had watched it recently, but I do really enjoy season 18 because it's completely different. you know, it must have been such a massive shift at the time. So yeah, I was a bit gutted. And what I did was, because I couldn't locate my Blu-ray box set because it's still currently in a box, which I did have to rifle out, which I did do that. But I listened to the audio of the Target novel, which is brilliant. It's voiced by John Kershaw, or whatever he's called, John Kershaw, who does an amazing Tom Baker impression. But the introduction, the first chapter, the abduction of an Earthling, is brilliant because he basically it starts with George Morris, who is the guy that gets taken by the Gazarax.
Oh, that would have been good to know. That.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's that sort of explained,
yeah,
isn't it,
it's great. He the bit at the end when he says, "Oh, I've told my wife I was coming home from work." Well, the whole bit is he rings his wife from the office. It's a 20-minute journey home. His wife preparing him this sherry, and he comes across the gas. Is it gas racks? What they're called? Gas tax. Anyway, and then so this whole first chapter is just about that, and it's brilliant. And John Leeson does the voice of K9 in it as well. So it's great. That is absolutely brilliant. So I'm pleased we picked it just to listen to that, and just to listen to that first chapter, pretty much. But I enjoy it. It's different. It's cool having a stupid cactus as a baddie in it. You know what I mean? That's very Doctor Who, and it's kind of like still silly from the previous season, but has that serious element, which I do like, that Christopher H. Bidme brought in. So yeah, it's been. I'm pleased we did it just for the Target novel. There you go.
Can I just quickly interject? Do you reckon then if they would have filmed the first chapter, as you said, describing the events of grabbing the human, would have added to the story itself?
Yeah,
rather than
being cool,
being like a 5-part.
Well, the first, because it starts with Roman and the Doctor, but it was meant to start on Ty Geller. But people wanted to put the Doctor and Roman in so people could associate, obviously them with the show. And the other thing as well is with the episodes, they're all very short episodes.
Yeah.
So I think each one's about 17 minutes, 16 minutes.
Part 4 is 16 minutes long.
And they fill it out with the cliffhanger and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of padding in it. But they had all this other stuff which they could have used.
So why did they not use it? Do we know? Because I was shocked because I was so bored. But I wasn't bored, but I was kind of like, can I fit in part 4 or not? And then I just skipped forward to the end of the first scene, so I'd have to rewatch the intro and the credit. And I noticed there was only like 16 minutes left. And that was like that's how only way I realized that.
It's probably all down to a lot of cost cutting measures as well. Because if you were going to stop putting a backstory in for the Earthling, which probably might have helped the story maybe a little bit, you'd have had to hire extras for that and to do all these extra scenes and costs for sets and stuff. So they probably just thought, no, you don't really need it. To be honest,
it's not really explained, is it, though, why he's actually abducted and why they use him to morph with? That's not really developed.
Look, he's just said it's for sets.
Yes.
Sets.
Oh, right, sorry. That would explain the bowl cuts, then, wouldn't it? The blonde bowl cuts.
I've actually made some notes on this, and it's regarding. Sorry, go on, John.
No, go on, Bobster.
It's just regarding the bowl cuts, because obviously you've got two sets of people: the scientists and the religious element, that old common fraction, and then the scientists have got the fucking shit bowl cuts, but the religious ones are wearing hoods, because they must suddenly realise of a dawning spiritual awakening that these haircuts are shit. So I'm going to wear a hood. That's what I kind of thought they'd done, fucking.
I don't understand why a lot of sci-fi of that era had homogenized populations.
Yeah.
All looking the same. It's just like, it's like that's, we've covered this on probably a previous episode of this shit. But we've got like, the opinion that everybody sort of becomes one in the future.
Less individuality.
Individuality disappears.
Yeah.
That seems to be a 70s or 80s desire. That the reason for that being in the fiction must be because that is what we expect to happen, what we want to happen, and what we're heading towards.
What bowl cuts?
It's completely bowl cuts, yeah.
The Deons and the Savants, they've got that uniform look. But at least with the Gazstacks, the pirates themselves, they all have their different sort of looks, which is great, because you just, if these pirates are going around pilfering off various planets, and they're not going to be wearing the same sort of stuff all the while. And I'm quite glad they actually went into the production side of it and decided to make them all dress sort of different. But one of them did wear was it a hubcap on his head? What's
We've all
his
been
name?
there.
General Grugger. He had a hubcap as part of his hat costume.
I felt their costumes resemble something like out of the Mongolian Empire type stuff.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It reminded me of Marco Polo.
Exactly.
Weirdly.
I know it made me think, was they from that era and there was going to be some kind of cool connection? But I felt the pirates let it down. I felt they were just trying to continue the story, like the bit with Romana where she's walking around in a bloody circle. I thought that was stupid.
That was all padding, though, wasn't it? Because
but it wasn't clever padding. It wasn't like, even for children, they got the intelligence to think, oh, this is just a bit daft. They could have had it in a different situation, and the pirates were simply there to go, we need somehow to bring this cactus being to there, this to there, and I felt they could have been used a little bit better than that.
The story was written, I think, for when because Tom Baker, this is his final season. There's a new producer in, and this story was written by the two writers, thinking that they were going to be using the sort of the way things were done the previous season, which was a lot more fun. There was a lot of ad libs. There was a lot of jokes in there. So these two writers went and wrote this sort of story, thinking there was going to be a lot more humor. John Nathan Turner came in, Barry Letts came in, and they sort of took out the humor. Christopher H. Mead, the script editor as well, took out the humor. And so a lot of the humor which you would have had with these jokey sort of pirates, they were just gone. It was just gone. And Tom Baker, over the years, he's sort of been ad-libbing and just doing his own thing within the script, as long as to help improve the story. But he couldn't really go around doing this sort of thing in this season, well, because it was all so serious and it had to be done in a particular way. So there's no ad-libbing, there was no sort of jokes, no humor being put in by him. Right, so he was sort of frustrated as well. This is one of the other reasons why he sort of left at this sort of time, or he announced he was leaving from this production. But if they'd have gone the way he should have, this might have been a lot better received. Comedy, humor, jokes, parody, whatever you'd like to say. Go on, John.
Fucking actors. So up their own asses, aren't they? Hey? No, but I understand that. But I think it suffered from there being a lack of comedy. You could see they tried it on one or two places. We had Brotherdack, literally the best character in the fucking world, as the idiot, as the comedic element, and he was great. He was hamming it up, proper panto style. It was terrible.
And Anagram, bad actor as well. That Ratadack.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not going to say yes because it's Bob telling me. It could be wrong.
No. What, the writers, Brotherdack, if you were Anagram, is bad actor. The writers put that in, right? Saying,
how do you spell Brotherdack?
Pardon?
How do you spell the word Brotherdack?
Brotadac, I think.
Oh, two A's, you're right. I wrote it wrong.
So when they put it in, thinking that whoever usually takes these sort of roles, they're always a bad actor. Turns out the actor that came in to do Brotherdack was actually decent sort of actor and knew how to play the comedy and the other.
There was some odd choices, like I think the padding thing certainly had like that chronic histrionic loop, chronic hysteresis, that flying ambit time loop, impossible to get out of. Literally, just 30 seconds later they're out of it. That's like
not only that, give it a stupid name, which I was like, whoa. Just call it time.
Did they just waggle K9's tail or something like that? To
just jerk K9 off, and then it came out.
Yeah, it was all done by K9 in order to get his tail properly serviced.
Oh wow!
Well, yeah, having K9 in there only for him to power down and be shit and useless for the rest of the thing was pointless.
Absolute waste of time.
Yes, but I did like the fact that there was this contest between, not this contest, this schism in the society of the Savants and the Daeons. I think it's very simplistic, which I'm finding in a lot of the Doctor Who's. It's the plots are, let's make a good and a bad, let's not worry about nuance because it's a kid's show. But I think they could have done something a little less polarized.
Yeah, I found the actual, yeah, you picture it as Meglos. It's a cactus, and this being from this other planet, and then it suffers and all this type of thing. And I just thought it was that the comic era, but it didn't work. Even children would find that a little bit. It's just a freaking cactus.
What, the cactus? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they just decided we've got face makeup that looks cactusy. We might as well have a baddie that looks like a cactus. And why not? I mean, why not? It's a big
It's
universe.
bizarre. It's surreal.
Yeah,
So why
but
not? Yeah. It's crazy. But I just felt they really pushed the boundaries here to pick a cactus of all things.
It's just something that was in their writing room where they were actually doing the episode. But the other thing, or when that cactus is actually seen on screen, back in the 80s, do you remember a show called The Adventure Game? They used to have cactuses and then they changed into humans and you'd have celebrities coming on. This is what they should remind you of.
You having a stroke? Suck it up.
No, I'm not having a stroke. Can you
Is
remember
that
the
a genuine memory, or is just
That
one of
is
your
the
fantasies?
genuine memory.
So, I got just to stop here. This will require some editing, Chef.
Yeah.
Craig, your microphone, we can't hear you.
You're muted.
Oh, it won't need editing. We'll just keep that in. It was good that he's edited out. I mean, it's fine. No.
Can't
No.
hear you.
Yeah, this will need editing out now.
Is your light on? Is your light on?
Inside his head, probably not.
Your light's not on, is it?
Yeah, it's on. I can see blue.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Have a look in your settings at the bottom of that
That's
little
better.
arrow.
Yeah, got it.
Got it.
What did you do?
It was muted. Don't know how.
Oh, did you press the little
I
button
don't
in the
know why
middle?
you was quiet.
Did you press that mute button in the middle?
No, I've not touched it. I don't know. I did. Maybe I've not muted it from earlier on.
Was a mute button in the middle of the microphone?
Oh, maybe I've done that then.
You two
Oh, is
got
it?
the same microphone.
Hang on.
On mute.
I'm going to touch it and see what happens.
Yeah, so sucky.
That muted me now.
No.
Oh. Right. Yeah. I thought no one was listening to me.
Does this mute me now? Am I muted now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
So mine works.
I'll play with that later.
Done.
Okay.
Wow.
Right,
I foresee issues in our future.
You were talking about having a stroke, sucky.
I was not having a stroke, but John assumed that I was having a stroke.
Yeah, because he didn't believe the adventure game, which is totally true. I got to back Sucky up.
There you
100%.
go.
I remember. I remember the chat, and they used to kind of shapeshift and become humans. And they used to have to play a game where they went across a checkered board, and the plants would be there. I used to love the adventure game. Yeah,
And
They
there's a
take
William
plans of-
Hartnell lookalike.
Yeah, it was really cool, and that's what I always remember with this as well.
And that was a seamless edit, Cliff. Well done.
Brilliant. That.
The key thing is not to mention the edit.
Don't mention the edit, dude. Don't mention the edit.
I am so glad I'm not doing the editing now.
But that was a fabulous edit on itself. Applause, everyone.
I actually remember this when it was broadcast. So I do actually remember the Doctor with his cactus face. And I've got to say, even as a kid, I did not buy it. I didn't like this story as well, however old I was at the time. I found it, I didn't think Tom Baker was particularly acting well at this point anyway. I think he looked tired. And I do remember the scene with, kind of like he's puts his head around the corner and he's got all the green cactusy face, which is quite scary in its own way because he does do it quite commanding. But I just think it looked cheap. I don't think
I'll
he
tell
did
you
it
what,
well.
with Tom Baker, right? Yeah, he's tired, and you can tell
Yeah,
the whole season. And I quite like
He wants to go.
I quite like that because he's coming towards the end of his life in this particular form or whatever. So I think he's acted quite well and real. But what I do love the way he does Meglos and he does the Doctor. I think there's a really subtle difference. I mean, obviously Tom Baker's a fantastic actor, but predominantly Doctor Who, he was kind of playing it himself to a degree.
Yeah.
And I did love that, the way you could tell he was when he was Meglos. And I imagine it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Great acting.
I was going to say, do you reckon the right is it Terence Dick on it? Terence Dick.
No,
written
it's
this
not.
one,
Did he? I thought it was two
No.
people I've
No,
heard
it
of
is the
before.
book.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, do you reckon they've written this because Tom Baker was tired and it was giving him some more challenging work to do? Having the two doctors was quite good.
Yeah, that was a good concept. It's the first time we'd had that, isn't it? I think in Doctor Who, the kind
Second
of
time, because the first one was the week before.
Yeah.
When he had a doppelganger in is it Leisure Hive?
Oh yes, he is. Yeah. Yeah.
So I did 2 stories in a row with 2 doctors.
Because I thought he was trying to more or less, write to keep him happy, to keep him going on the season.
I think that was last on their agenda, was keeping Tom Baker happy when I think anything, they were quite happy to agitate him.
Was there a clash between him and Romana too? Because they don't seem to, the chemistry seemed to be off sometimes.
Were they in love at this point, or were they beginning to have fractures?
It was, if you look at a lot of this, particularly this season, he never looks at Lala Ward.
No,
because of whatever's going on in their private lives as well, which is it's a bit weird, but it's quite nice when you know about it to see it on screen. This whole thing, a bit Fleetwood Mac, captured. It's. I think that's why I find season 18 quite fascinating. Is all these sort of things going.
There's a lot going on in it.
And a very different Tom Baker.
I'll tell you what I thought was a real shame and a real waste of an opportunity. Jacqueline Hill. She's just not utilized. I mean, she's crap in this completely. The acting, the voice, the way she commands herself, but also this would have been a fantastic opportunity to bring Susan back, and not Susan, sorry, Barbara back, and actually have a returning companion. She's just totally wasted. What a concept gone. I just didn't like her in this.
You couldn't bring Barbara back into this sort of.
John's looking confused. So the woman that played the in charge of all the religious.
Lexa.
She's actually the first Doctor's companion. She's Barbara in it.
All right.
She's a returning companion.
No, I didn't think she was crap at all. I thought she was good. She was one of the
Did
better
you? I
ones.
thought
I thought she was one of the best.
I think because it's Barbara, and it's just a bit. But it was one of her first acting job for many years, because she left to have kids. I think there's a lot of big. It's a common story back then. Was she left to have kids, and then by the time they're growing up or whatever, she was nearly 50 or whatever, and she couldn't get back into acting. So it was a case of you've been out of it for so long. 50-year-old woman trying to get back in again, and it's people that and obviously Barry Letson had come back in, and she knew people on Doctor Who, which is how she got this gig.
I thought she did an all right job. I feel what's more of a shame the way they killed her. I was like,
I couldn't understand how they killed her. Killed by a D12. I don't understand how that happened. Meglos uses the dodecahedron to blast. No, Lexa's killed by a pirate, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was killed by a pirate.
Yeah.
It seemed utterly pointless.
Yeah.
Well, the way the writers wrote it, or the way they said it in the Beyond the Scene, her character had nowhere to go after she'd been convinced that there was 2 doctors, somebody else had stolen it, and it was some sort of artifact instead of like a godlike given deity.
So you don't just kill her off for that. You address that.
That's what they decided.
But I think this is why I was saying it's lazy Doctor Who. It's going for any impact we can that doesn't mean anything. I just found this, like I said before, really generic. So having her kill herself is a bit of drama, but it does make no sense. There's no build up to it.
The thing I quite like about this story, though, is Jacqueline Hill's performance as Lexa, and it also because it highlights some of the things that Barbara used to do, which is or one of the more famous things that Barbara did, which was when in the Aztecs, she wanted to get rid of human sacrifices and make sure that, change the whole of society. Yeah. And then Jacqueline Hill, 14, 15 years later, comes back in this story, and she's the religious leader who advocates human sacrifice. To be able to
great. That's a great pick. I didn't pick that up. I actually like Cat's I like Cat's text.
I suspect there is no connection whatsoever.
No, but it's quite cool. Though,
it's just the way the two characters that she's played within Doctor Who. One was
reversal of the other one.
The other
one had a heart, the other didn't.
It's
endless.
Literally. Yeah. Endless. But I also thought in this story, there's death to the point where it didn't even bother the Doctor, and I thought that was a bit of a shudder. I know it's a children's show, but obviously new Doctor, Doctor Who don't like killing anyone, which is a bit of a shame. But on this, it commits genocide at the end, and he just tirelessly kills the pirates, and that's it. And at the last bit, it's like ha 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 ha. He's having a bit of a laugh and joke, and he gets back in his TARDIS. Not even a thought about what he's just done, which I thought was a bit unusual.
What genocide does he do?
He kills the last of the Zolfurans, which
is that genocide if you just kill one of them?
It's the last one.
It's the last one doesn't mean it's genocide. Yeah, I don't think it means it. It's a
Well,
moral point that we can argue about later.
I also thought that bit with the TARDIS not taking off at the talk about the end bit was also a bit kind of like, let's just draw this out as long as we can because the countdown is going on. When does the TARDIS not pretty much take off straight away? But this time it takes like, however, 30 seconds. It just doesn't work. Again, I thought that was really just dragging out every potential. So I'm being really bad negative here. I'm not being.
Also, it's got it's got the classic fat TARDIS. The TARDIS is fat.
The TARDIS does look good, yeah.
Yeah, I like fat TARDIS.
I also like the bit when in the very first episode when the thing comes up from the ground with all the sand. I thought that looks really cool.
Well,
with all the shields around it.
I was going to talk talk about the effects because it was screen. What was it called? Screen sync. Screen sync. But it was. But it was screens of Zolfafura. I like it, John. But it was so they had like camera locked off, and it was this whole technology that the BBC had been working on, where you had the two cameras, one on the model shot, one on the live actors. And so it was a bit better than what.
I see. Yeah,
they were doing before.
Yeah.
So before they had the green, the sort of blue screen, but they just had one picture behind it, and people would move on to it. Whereas this was like they were moving two cameras at two different things, and it was quite a revolutionary visual effects at the time, and they were using it in period dramas, things that didn't work so well. But on Doctor Who, I think it really works. It
did work well,
brilliantly well in this.
Yeah.
It gets slagged off now because when you look at it, it looks pretty shady. But you got to think it's Doctor Who, and it's the story you invested in, not necessarily the effects. But I really liked the way they did it. I liked the models. Effects. The only shaky model bit is when the pirate ship literally gets picked up by someone's hand, hidden behind a screen, and shook around. I was like, "Oh, I could have just put wires on better."
That was obvious. That was.
I didn't notice that.
But sorry, just while we're on production bloopers, at the end, there's some really good ones, and it points out in the info text, but it's cool. So the gas tax. When they have the big battle at the end, when they get back to the ship, there's two gas tacks, and then suddenly the next shot, when it cuts them again, there's three on board the ship. Then suddenly, when they get to the planet, there's 5 gas tanks. But they keep changing the number of gas tanks, and it's.
He actually mentions it in the dialogue as well. What's his name? The leader. That
General
Grogger. Right. That you've killed 50% of my crew. All right. So he only had 8. So he only had 3 or 4 left, and then by the next.
They're all back, weren't they? Yeah.
6, 7. It's just
if you fancy watching episode 4 again, just for that, it's quite cool. Spot the gas tank.
There's one of them gas tanks. If you see right at the beginning when they're bringing the Earthman on, and they come out of the spaceship, he nearly falls flat on his face. There's a flipping great big massive trip, and they've just left it all in.
On production values, I think that Meglos at the end, when he kind of the green cloth is slurped along the floor, that's clever. That's really impressive. Just dragged along on the rope or whatever it might be. That's good quality.
Well, so what did you think of the actual the makeup that Tom Baker had and the Earth thing had with all the spikes and so?
I liked it.
That was good.
I liked it. I did think it looked really good.
They needed that, though, to distinguish between who was Meglos and who was the actual Doctor for kids watching, because they kept this same clothes on, and therefore, if you had them both running around, it's just going to get confusing.
Yeah.
There was another bit I wanted to ask you about, which I think is a big continuity error, was the Meglos changes with full costume into Tom Baker's 4th Doctor. But a bit later on, it gives his coat away. So how does that happen? If that's part of his,
part of his body?
Just got rid of a shit. It's just shed a skin and just give, or a leaf, and that's your coat, and that's it gone rid of.
Maybe it's just like taking off one of his branches or something like that.
It's only afterwards I thought maybe that
or a single prick.
Yeah, he gave his prick to a prick.
Oh, I tell you what I wanted to mention, and this is for you, Craig, was the viewing figures were incredibly low at this time in Doctor Who.
Right.
Incredibly low, like 4.2 million.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I mean...
You don't imagine that with Tom Baker, do you, actually?
No, it was always 17, 18 million. Yeah. But no, at this point, you're talking low 4 millions. And it was the time when they put Buck Rogers on ITV. Yeah. And ITV were really smashing it, like with big... budget American sci-fi shows. So yeah, view figures were terrible.
Sorry, Craig.
I was going to say, and you can kind of see it if you're comparing now Buck Rogers to this. Even the story's not convincible, like putting a cactus in. I know it linked in with the adventure game, perhaps, and things like that. It's not as plausible as the big kind of, the space operas going on that you're seeing in Buck Rogers, or you're seeing in Battlestar Galactica, things like that were coming on.
Yeah, but if you watch some of them now, you'll see those 70s, 80s shows, late 70s, early 80s shows. There was a lot of repeat shots of everything, and it was just really bad acting. The sex looked really bad on screen. It just looks really terrible.
Not much aged as well from the 70s and 80s,
No.
apart from Love Boat.
I thought you were going to say apart from disco.
Disco.
Disco never died, mate. Disco never died. At this point, though, in this Doctor Who, had he already picked Peter Davison? Did he already know that he was on his way? So they was ready to wrap it up.
I'm assuming.
Really, because that's really they must have done because it's season 18.
When this story was being broadcast, that's when it was announced that he was leaving. So the production of this was probably a couple of months beforehand, and this was shown sometime afterwards. So it's only during the production, the broadcast of this episode was when Tom Baker was. So coming to the cast and the next Doctor probably would have taken a while before Peter Davison was actually either thought of or even announced.
Yeah, but it's good you should say that, because after what Bob was saying about ITV and those influences, you can understand why they went for a younger guy, Peter Davison, to try and get that audience back into it again.
And a known figure as well from All Creatures Great and Small and things like that. Yeah, that bit of content, that bit
popular figure.
Yeah. Love that theme song for that.
Yeah, did you see actually someone completely did you see Peter Davison at Wales Comic Con?
Yeah,
if you've seen on some of the tweets,
holding a sign up.
Holding a sign up about his son-in-law. He's not that special.
I've seen it. Yeah. My Twitter feed's full of Doctor Who.
I secretly love it, John.
Very secretly.
Right. Has anybody got any more stuff that they want to talk about on this story?
What how to host, basically.
Oh, I'm just tired, man. I am tired.
No, I don't have much to say about this. I think it's all been said for me. It was just I enjoyed it. It was like a guilty pleasure Doctor Who. It just was. You could almost tick box Doctor Who in this, from the Doctor being crushed as one as a cliffhanger, from K9 running around and running out of batteries, from a tired adversary, from the science versus the religion, from the sacrifice. It just felt very generic. Yeah, you could apply the same formula to so many stories, probably more so even from the 70s. From like, it just borrowed an old format. It wasn't creative at all, not compared to some of the other ones that Tom Baker had, and not certainly what was coming with East Base Trilogy. I agree with what Bob said about that. It got really groovy later on, but this as an episode was just
bland.
Yeah,
bland. It's not offensive. I didn't hate it.
I do agree to a certain extent, because you've got the science, religion, blah blah. That's a bit boring, but I do I like the fact that the Meglos is a cactus, last of his race. And he has to get a human body, to get to Tigella, to get the decahedron and all that kind of stuff. It's not the most groundbreaking of plots, but the fact it's cactus is. The fact it does shift into human form, into other forms and takes over people, and that's quite a cool concept. I'm not saying it's executed brilliantly, but it's still quite a cool idea.
Yeah. Do you get away with it now?
It'll be better done.
They sort of did it. Absorbeloff. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. And I suppose we did have
a concept with that where he was possessing the people to use within himself as he looked for this planet, didn't it? So I think, like you said, the story's been used again and it's been done before. But the only thing I did like, and I'm sure John likes the fact, is it's 4 episodes. It's quite fast as well.
Very short.
It's short episodes as well. I think in the 70s, you had somewhere you're like, oh my God, I'm having to forward some of this. So I was happy. It was like you watched it in one sitting. It was done, dusted. You took it away. There's nothing groundbreaking.
To be fair,
it's all right, Doctor.
I mean, to be fair, it was meant to be serialized. It isn't meant to be watched in a big lump.
No,
No, but I was quite
Very
happy
good
to
point.
watch it in one lump, actually. I didn't think I was planning. I started watching it, to be fair, about a week and a half ago, thinking, I'll just pace it. But I did enjoy it, hence.
Now,
Fuck off, I just realised what you're doing. I was thinking my microphone had gone off.
it looked like they were shaking hands
I
somewhere.
was thinking, what? Oh, my
I was just
microphone's
copying
gone off.
John. I was just
I was
copying
just
John.
copying. I was just
Get
copying
lost,
Suki.
all of you.
The good thing about it being weekly as well, and because the actual story was underrunning by loud, was the fact they put all these added scenes in. And so, if a viewer was coming to it every week, at least a good chunk of the first bit of the episode was just basically
Quite a lot of
recapping
it.
within the
That
was-
story.
yeah, but that was
within
too
the
much.
story.
Yeah.
But within the story, just recapping what had happened in the previous episode. Which,
Well, they do that just to replay the last 3 minutes of the last episode. That's tended to be what they did if there was a cliffhanger, certainly.
Yeah.
But there
Because
was
all the
a couple
serials
of-
I've seen, that's what they've been doing.
Yeah, but I think there was a couple of times in this story where they had characters actually telling other characters what had happened in the previous episodes. I think the two Movellans that were together, not the Movellans, they look like Movellans, didn't they?
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
had
the
the villain
two,
vibe.
Yeah,
And
the
shit
side-
haircuts.
They weren't as funky disco, were they, Cliff, as
Yeah.
the
No, it
Novellans?
wasn't. No.
So
The religious lot had the best costumes. The purple, it meaning power, and the black, the shiny black. Brilliant. I'll go in a disco with that.
I did like Jacqueline Hill's hairdo. That must have been a bit of a ball ache to hold that up in it, keep that up, that long hair and that.
I'd love to see you with that, wearing that Suki. 'cause
I was
think
thinking,
you
I
could
just
pull
put
it
your
off.
Have you seen
beard
me,
up and go outwards, yeah.
No,
He's got the
no,
hair
no.
as well for it, you know.
Oh, yeah,
Not
yeah.
quite
yeah,
as long
yeah.
as Jacqueline Hill's was there.
I don't think it was a real hair.
Wasn't
Oh,
it?
no, no.
You don't spoil the illusion, Cliff.
I think it was a butt
Like,
pubes.
It's like,
Wow.
Was it a merkin?
It's all a trend then.
Is it 2 words, Suki?
You can do. Shall we go with 2 words? This is great hosting, by the way, guys. You know.
love it.
So let's go with Craig.
I'm going to go with guilty pleasure. I enjoyed it, but you won't want to admit it too much. Guilty pleasure.
Johnny boy.
Fucking bland.
I knew I should have come to you last. Cliff.
Quickly heat.
Oh,
Wow, somebody's been checking up online for puns
I
about
did
cactuses.
Wow.
Brick puns are put.
Go on, Bob.
I'm going to go with George Morris. It's
Yeah,
my
tomorrow.
2 words because I think that's just great.
Mine's just a bit.
That would have been a better thing if.
Oh, it's
if
brilliant, John. Honestly,
just-
it's
Just
great.
a little bit of scene, like why is that fella there?
yeah. I
That
didn't
made-
get that.
That ruins the
put that
start a little
in.
bit. Anyway, sorry, Suki, 2 words.
I forgot my 2 words.
Hell.
Stole his thunder, John.
It was okay. I'm just going to put was
Okay.
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 Twas
Right.
okay. It
Yeah.
was okay. Yeah, twas okay.
Was okay. It's time to pick the next story. So, has everyone got one?
No,
No.
but
Awesome.
you lot pick one, and then I'll decide which one of them I want to double up on to increase the
Do
odds.
you want to ask everyone, Suki? I'll just sit
Well,
there and
just
quietly
apparently-
watch
apparently not.
DVDs.
Okay, shall we pick our next story for the next? So let's go with. I went with Cliff earlier. Craig. Let's go with Bob.
This is I'm still going to stick with Sharda. I really want to watch Sharda with all the animation and stuff like that. So, it's another Tom Baker. I'm going to go with Sharda.
Shorter. And
How many episodes?
6. Missing.
depending on how you're going to watch it,
Yeah. It's a bit of a
because there's animated versions,
Oh, and it's
there's
missing
audio
as well.
versions.
Okay.
one of the characters wears extremely tight brown cords, almost distractingly tight.
Chris.
Yeah, Chris.
Okay.
I
on that
don't think they
note-
copied that very well in the animation. I did compare the two.
On that note, let's have your choice, Craig.
I'm going to go with the 5 Doctors.
Oh,
good
wow.
How many episodes is that?
One, it's like a movie. It's like
90
special.
minutes.
90 minutes.
90-minute movie. Cliff.
I was going to go for no. I might obviously I can't say it properly. Mordrin Undead.
Oh,
absolutely
I'm
fine.
feeling a Peter vibe. I'm
Peter
really
died,
feeling.
Peter
Yeah,
died.
I'm feeling Peter.
Even
at
though
the
he's
moment.
not my favorite Doctor, I do
No.
like the story.
How many episodes?
Four.
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 You got a busy month, John.
I'm going to help John out here a bit, so I'm going to go with if we're going for the Peter Davison vibe.
Yeah,
we'll go
come
with
with it.
Black. Yeah, we'll go with Black Orchid.
Oh, that's 2 episodes, John.
2 episodes.
Right, Johnny.
Yeah, well, no, Bob's recently had COVID, so I feel sorry for him. So I'm going to pick Shadow.
Oh, thanks,
Oh.
John.
So what we'll then we'll find out whether I've successfully gotten away with it or not.
Let's roll this dice.
Just before you do, can I just say I've had syphilis? We feel sorry for me.
Well, that's mostly self-inflicted.
It's I've rolled a 4, by the way. So that's Cliff and it'll be Mordred Undead.
Bit of
Next
Peter.
Fucking 6 episodes.
No, it's only four. Four.
It's going to feel like 6, isn't it? Let me know what that episode
Oh,
is.
no,
and where
Brigadier in
what
it as well.
season it
It's
is.
got the Brigadier.
Yeah, it's got a Brigadier in it. Yeah, it's great. I'm looking forward to Mordred Undead.
Thanks for showing us the DVD of that.
This
He,
is
knew,
not
he had a
YouTube,
DVD
is
of
it?
everything.
They look
But-
exactly the same. Every one of
There
these
you
that you
go.
showed. They all
How do you
look
find him
exactly
so
the
quick,
same.
Sucky? Do you kind of have a homing device to each
He hasn't
one?
even got the DVDs
I've just
in him.
told-
He's just
I'm
got
not-
the covers.
They're all
They're not even in order. How do you get them so quick?
they are in order,
But how can they be when you've got the box sets like the Beneath the Surface or whatever?
but you know what's in the box sets, though, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
You know,
yeah.
like
Yeah, but where would you
Myths and
where'd you
Legends
put
has
it?
crap
Do you-
like that in.
Do you put it under
Absolutely
Peter? Do you put it under
fascinating.
John? Where'd you put it?
I put it under the first,
first
story
one.
in the box set.
Yeah.
Controversial.
Up your ass. Bye.
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 Bye,
That's the
YouTube.
perfect way to end it.